Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, I earlier on was having a discussion with Pain, funnily enough, about something in the game. I'll explain the background in a minute, right? But we were both having a back and forth, and I was going to make a video, but I never told him I was going to make a video. But he had the same idea and the douchebag bet me to it. So you guys are now going to think I copied his idea for a video, but to clear my own name, I'm showing you that I didn't, right? I was already going to do this. So I've got a different perspective during our conversation anyway. I've usually got a different perspective from Pain. We tend to agree on things, but like how we get there is usually a little bit different. I want to talk over basically what the conversation was and my feelings in relation to it, okay? So basically, I'm in a chat that is myself, Mark, I not Mark, as in the YouTube creator who I've called Marky Mark before, and myself, and spoiler alert, we're starting the podcast. It's going to be the three of us. I don't know if we're going to start putting it out next week, but we're going to like record it and stuff like that. Not thought of names or anything like that, so if you guys have maybe suggestions of a podcast that features an American, a Canadian and a Scotsman, two baldy guys and Mark, two old dudes and Mark. I mean, I did think of one name, but I'm not in it. Like, you know how you've got like the Mark of Cain? The podcast could be called Mark of Pain, but then where does my name fit into it? So I'd need to leave the podcast. The best name I could think of doesn't even include me. But if you guys can think of a cool name, I'll speak to them, show them the comment, and I don't know, maybe they'll like the name. I don't know, I'm just a dude. Anyway, so in that chat, I noticed a few times that Mark had said, oh my god, Sagat might be coming as well. Am I gonna have to wail for these dudes, right? Now, I think it was a jokey comment. It probably was a jokey comment, but I felt the need to respond to it anyway, right? And what I basically said was, Mark, I need you to understand that you don't need these units. The reason I'm actually saying that you don't need these units is because, realistically, they're not actually going to do a lot for you. And I say that because I'll use myself as an example, okay? I have my account. I am here in the story, as you guys have probably seen so many times now, because every time I do a video, that is the level that I'm at the bottom of my screen. It just perpetually sits there, it never changes, and I seem to always be on that level. If I was to decide, you know what, I am going to be a nutcase, and when Dante drops, I think Dante is a solid unit that will help me progress. I am going to spend insert amount here. I don't know how much he would cost, right? And I am going to max out Dante. Okay? Do you know what Dante is going to do for me? He's probably going to make me go from here to maybe here, if I'm lucky. Or maybe if I'm extremely lucky, he will make me get to the next chapter. And then guess what? I'm going to be stuck again. So what value am I getting from pulling that unit? Someone tell me, where is the value? Now, when you play gacha games, there is one desire generally, okay? Well, I mean, it depends on the type of player you are, right? But for most players play gacha games because they enjoy the thrill of pulling a new unit. That is what keeps them going. That is that dopamine fix that they are chasing. That is the thrill of winning, succeeding. It's not passing content. It's throwing your diamonds at a pool where you have a 0.0001% chance of pulling the unit. Then you see a sparkly screen and you've pulled the new unit. That is ultimately the draw of these games to a lot of people. Now, that is what I would basically call a hero collector, right? A hero collector, a box completionist, someone who wants the units in their box. I had that with the Sky RPG. I would summon every unit. I would not use 95% of the units that I summoned, but I still wanted to get them, right? Now, if you are that type of player, then realistically, getting one copy of the unit is fine because ultimately that's all you want. But people have this misconception that only whales are going to max out units, so only whales are going to succeed and push on in this game. Now that there itself is probably not a misconception. It will be whales that get the units, and it will be whales that max them out. The slight misconception is the part about them pushing on, because ultimately, unless you are someone who is spending reams and reams and reams of money, it's not the units necessarily that is helping you push on. It is the breakstones, it is the EXP, it is the getting multiple characters to SSS, so standard characters, to raise your level cap, to get your entire team's power raised up enough to just brute force your way through content. That is what is helping people ultimately proceed. It's not pulling Vega and getting Vega up to SSS plus 5. It's not pulling Akuma and getting Akuma up to SSS plus 5. It's literally all the other money that's being spent on other parts of the game. Now, what I would say is, realistically, Street Fighter as a game, I love the IP, but as a game, as an AFK game, it's not even the best AFK game. And it's a game I enjoy, don't get me wrong, but as I've stated now multiple times, almost every single individual element of this game is straight up lifted from AFK Arena. I mean, it's not even like funny how almost exact it is. Like, I'm gonna actually do a side-by-side video just to show you, if you've not played AFK, just how much of this game is copied from AFK Arena. I mean things down to little things like the colouring of rarity types, the symbols used to denote certain debuffs. Like, it's insane just how much is copied, right? But as an AFK game, AFK Arena is arguably a better game because there's more systems in place for free-to-play players, there's more things that you can do, there's more content that you can tackle. But ultimately, as a hero collector, it has the same issues as Street Fighter Duel. You still need a lot of dupes, you still need a lot to progress later in game, and ultimately, unless you have quite a few elements, plus spend or wait to get the equivalent of EXP, breakstones and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to push on. The new character is just not magically going to help you clear lots of new content. Now, one thing that I wasn't going to touch on, and it was touched on in Payne's video, so I feel like I should mention it. One of the things that Payne was obviously saying is, as a free-to-play player, you get access to the mercenary system, which obviously allows you to borrow characters from your whale friends, and you can use it to clear content. You can only really use it for one level. Now, there is something that actually exists in AFK Arena, it's called like the Garrison, and hopefully they bring that to Street Fighter Duel. And basically what it is rather than using your friend's units as a mercenary, you can essentially, how do I put this, rent the unit from your friend by using like currency you've saved up. So it uses like your, what would be your disassembly points or city tokens, it uses that type of thing, and you get like stones that you use, and if you spend 100 stones, you essentially use your friend's character, but it in essence becomes your character for a month. So you're responsible for leveling that character, adding to its fighting spirit, putting gear on it, all that type of stuff, and you can raise that character's level as high as you want. Now after a month you won't have that unit anymore, but if you rent it again, you get it back in the exact same state that you left it in. So if you had raised it up to say SSS plus 5, just for example, if it was a legend, as soon as you rent it again, that's what it would be. And once you've rented that unit 6 times, you can do it forever for free. So essentially that character becomes your character, and they do that with collab characters and stuff. So if Street Fighter continues to copy those systems, then hopefully they will introduce a Garrison type system, and you will be able to go to a friend and look at what's in their box, and then potentially turn around and say, well, you know what, I want to borrow your Malagia Ken, he'll be mine for a month, you'll level this guy up, and he will almost in essence be your character that you can continue to use. That would be a great addition to this game. The mercenary thing, while it's decent, obviously the limitations mean you can't really use it to push on too much. You can maybe use it to beat a stage, and then a few stages later you'll probably get stuck again. But if they introduce the Garrison system, absolutely fantastic. I'm all for them doing that, right? So anyway, the initial point I was making in this video is it's not necessarily that you don't need the new units. I get it, guys, you want the new units. Like, you're playing a gacha game, of course you want the new units. Whether it's to be in your box, whether it's to just feel the thrill of summoning them or using them to flex on your friends, I don't know. Like, you've probably got multiple reasons, but there's a difference between needing and wanting, and I know you guys want the units, but what I would say is, if you are someone who is in the mindset of, I'm going to have to whale to do this, which is what started this entire conversation in the first place, you need to ask yourself seriously, what benefit is that unit going to bring to your team? Is that unit going to help you push content? And is it going to help you push enough content to justify what you're about to spend to max that unit out? Okay. At the end of the day, some people make throwaway statements on YouTube like, why would I want to summon in a gacha game if I can go out and buy a new PlayStation 5 game for that price? The reality is, going for a character like Dante, you could probably buy yourself a new PlayStation 5, never mind a new PlayStation 5 game, for the cost it would take to get this guy usable. So really, unless you're someone who has enough disposable income that it doesn't matter to you, don't whale in these games to push content. Just do what you can do, enjoy the ride, because ultimately, even if you are a spender, you are going to hit a wall and not be able to progress unless you let enough time pass and level up. So literally, the only difference between the free-to-play experience and the pay-to-play experience is, rather than being stuck at chapter 37.5, you're stuck at chapter 22.5. But your experience and the whale's experience, guess what? It's the same experience. Because even if they've got this new shiny unit sitting in their box, if they can't use that unit to get past the level they're stuck at tower, what is it doing for them? Because if it's flexing on people in PvP, this game is designed in such a way that you can target whoever you want and you're not penalised for it. So it's literally a flex. That is it. You're basically worried about someone who is flexing the fact that they've thrown so much money at a new unit, that they have that unit at 5 stars, and for what? So what? They beat you to number 1 on PvP. They beat you to number 1 on Battle Royale. What did they get for it? Very little more than you, who came second place and you never spent a penny. Just view it that way. If you enjoy the game, continue to play the game. If you don't like the game, stop playing the game. If you think that the developers are greedy, let them know. I am not here to tell you guys what to do. All I'm telling you to do is think about this through a realistic lens. And that lens is, will this bring you any progress on your account? And if the answer is no, and you just simply want to have the new unit because getting the new unit is cool, then summon, get one, stop. Keep your tickets for the next big banner, because ultimately, you know, going into this banner, are you going to have enough tickets to max this guy out, at least to double S? People say triple S, but double S, you can use them, right? Are you going to have enough to get him there? If the answer is no, either don't summon or pick up one copy, be happy, and hope you find a whale friend that will let you use them at some point in time. that is my PSA for the day. If you forgot at the start of the video, I low-key announced without agreeing I was going to announce the fact that we are doing this podcast. It's going to be myself, Payne and Mark. If you can think of a name that's not Mark of Pain, which I do think is a cool name, but where does Hayzink fit into that? Let me know, because now that I've put Mark of Pain into the world, people might go with it. Mark, does Mark have hair? I don't know if Mark's got hair actually. You can maybe work the bald thing in, because underneath this I'm bald, so the bald thing could be an element. Anyway, I'm Hayzink, thanks for watching, catch you in the next one, peace out, see you later, goodbye.